All right, it's a Friday, and we have some 49ers injury news to get to with the regular season coming up in 2 Sundays for San Francisco on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some notable players who are dealing with some ailments, but also some good news on the Niners injury front as well. This is the San Francisco 49ers report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Hope all of you out there are getting ready to have a fantastic weekend. It's great to have college football back. I'm actually about to hop on a flight to Charlotte to check out South Carolina and North Carolina, one of the better matchups of the weekend between two really good quarterbacks, and Spencer Rattler and Drake May. So speaking of that, if Nick Bosa news drops and he signs that contract extension while I'm in the air on Friday morning, as soon as I land, we're going to provide you coverage right here on the San Francisco 49ers report. And throughout this weekend, if he comes to an agreement on that contract extension, regardless of where I am, we're going to keep you in the know and dissect everything that goes down on that front. Appreciate everybody for supporting the show. Yesterday, we surpassed 84,000 subscribers. So if you're coming across the show for the first time and you're looking for daily shows on the Niners, news, analysis, rumors, live shows, watch parties, film breakdowns, we have it all here, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. So on the Niners injury report, let's begin here with running back Elijah Mitchell. He's missed the last couple of weeks of training camp. That has gone into the preseason. Suffered an adductor strain a few weeks ago. That's an injury in his groin area. Returned to practice this week. Is expected to be ready for week 1. This, of course, has fantasy football implications for those of you who are into that, and it has implications for San Francisco's offense as well, because when healthy, Elijah Mitchell is a top-tier second-string running back. Obviously, the big caveat there, when healthy. But he forms a really good backfield duo alongside Christian McCaffrey, and in his first 2 years, when Mitchell has been on the field, 11 games as a rookie, 5 games in year 2, that pretty much translates to a full regular season at this point, 16 games, so I guess an old regular season, but the numbers really solid for Mitchell. 252 carries in those 16 games, 1,200 plus yards, average yards per carry, 4.9, so almost 5 yards anytime that he gets his hands on the rock with 7 touchdowns. Some ability in the screen game, not Christian McCaffrey level, but he's at least capable of catching the ball out of the backfield. He's just always injured, unfortunately, and it's been a great pickup for San Francisco in the later rounds for him, and it was kind of a draft gem. I think Bobby Taylor, the running backs coach, who's one of the best positional coaches at that position in the NFL, did a good job of identifying him and then coaching him up. I think he's a really good scheme fit. Unfortunately, though, knee problems, he's had a concussion, adductor injury, hand-wrist injuries, and why does he always get hurt, especially with some of those lower body injuries? With Elijah Mitchell, he's an upright runner, doesn't have a lot of bend to kind of lower that shoulder, doesn't have a low center of gravity when he does run the football, so I think that's why sometimes he gets cut up from underneath him, and he leaves himself prone to defenders hitting his knees. And that's why I think he suffered some of those knee injuries up to this point. But when you talk about the vision, when you talk about the scheme fit in this outside zone and dissecting where the blockers are going on some of those pulls and the linebackers and where they're trying to fill in some of those gaps, he has a really good awareness and a really good vision on where to go with the football. He's very decisive, and rarely is Elijah Mitchell ever dropped for a negative play. And that's a big reason why he's averaged nearly 5 yards per carry in his NFL career so far. He's always falling forward, and he's always gaining positive yards, oftentimes turning garbage into gold, because when it looks as though he's going to be bottled up in the backfield, has an ability to either break a tackle, make a guy miss, or just fall forward. So with Elijah Mitchell coming back, hopefully this year is the year going into year 3 that he's able to stay healthy. This is a little bit of a concerning injury development for San Francisco. Geroge Kittle. I'm a little bit concerned about this considering how big of a lift he gave this offense last year, especially down the stretch, and kind of the kinship that he had with Brock Purdy and how well he played with the rookie quarterback last year. Geroge Kittle, obviously one of the best tight ends in the NFL still, but his adductor injury, that groin injury, has lingered, and he's been dealing with this ever since the joint practices against the Las Vegas Raiders going into week 1 of the preseason, and that's kept him out of practice, and it's keeping him out of practice still with the regular season coming up into Sundays here. It's not ideal given his injury history. John Lynch on KNBR did say that he's a little bit concerned. This is the direct quote. I think there's always concern when something persists, and this has kind of lingered. George usually has about one of these things a year, and then once he gets through it, he's good. So knock on wood that that's the case. And for Kittle, it really does feel as though he always has like one of these soft tissue injuries per year, especially in the preseason. He literally dealt with a same type of ailment last year, which is what caused him to be out of that season opener. And then we didn't get to see him play with Trey Lance, which I think would have helped out Lance at the time. But to Kittle's credit, missed a lot of time after that massive contract extension, which at the time made him the highest paid tight end in 2020. But the last 2 years, 14 games played in 2021, 15 games played last year. And at the end of last year, I thought that he really rejuvenated and revitalized his career to a certain degree, because the production for him as a receiver wasn't necessarily there, part of that scheme. He was asked to be kind of an inline blocker, flanking the right tackle or the left tackle, but 11 touchdowns last year. 7 of those touchdowns came in the final month of the regular season. So Kittle was awesome. And after TJ Hawkinson's contract extension with the Minnesota Vikings, Kittle now drops down to 3rd as far as the highest paid tight ends per year. Hawkinson's deal, $17+ million. Darren Waller, 17 even. Geroge Kittle at 15. He's getting paid more than Travis Kelce at 14.3. I imagine Kelce sees TJ Hawkinson, Darren Waller, who's barely played the last couple of years, and Kittle ahead of him, and he's like, I'm underpaid here. I'm a weapon. I'm the best tight end in the NFL, yet right here I am 4th on that list. Dallas Goedert after Kittle at 14.25 for the Philadelphia Eagles, and then Mark Andrews at $14 million. So that's the latest on Geroge Kittle. That's kind of like the major injury news for San Francisco here. Matt Mayoko, NBC Sports Bay Area, with some more injury updates for the Niners. They had a light practice yesterday, followed by 3 days off. So today off day, Saturday off day, Sunday off day. Then they'll resume and officially begin their preparations for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not practicing yesterday, Geroge Kittle, Jordan Mason, Talanoa Hufanga, who has that weird cyst behind his knee, Oren Burks, who's been out for a few weeks, Trey Greenlaw, Tashawn Gibson, Ray McLeod, and Jake Moody. So, look, I'm not going to get overly concerned, but certainly some things to monitor on the Niners injury front going into week 1. Matthew Wright, yet to sign with the practice squad officially, but is going to sign with the practice squad at some point. It's going to have to be a corresponding roster move, but he's in the Bay Area. He was watching practice yesterday. We broke his signing down. I kind of like it. 2 different stints with the Pittsburgh Steelers, so he knows how to kick at that stadium, formerly Heinz Field, and now it's Acrisure Stadium. Should always be Heinz Field. It just sounds too crazy. But if you've ever been to Pittsburgh, it's a city that has these 3 rivers that kind of intersect in the city, and that stadium is right downtown, PNC Ballpark, where the Pirates play. I think it's the most beautiful ballpark in Major League Baseball, but it's the city is kind of in the valley, right? So you have all these mountains around the stadium and then these intersecting rivers, so the wind can really howl and move in different directions. And I like the signing of Matthew Wright. It's kind of a forward-thinking move by the Niners, in my opinion, because 2 different stints with Pittsburgh, has experience and familiarity kicking in that stadium, kind of knows how the wind works, and he's been able to knock down about 89% of his field goals throughout his career. So, Niners, Steelers, week 1 next Sunday. We look ahead, programming stuff. Obviously it's Labor Day weekend, so hope all of you out there are gonna put some plans together to have a fantastic extended weekend. I'm going to Charlotte, coming back on Sunday. Going to try to go live Monday on the Niners Report just to preview this game against Pittsburgh. So keep an eye out for that. If Nick Bosa signs, we'll provide you updates here on the show as well. And then our watch party will get underway on Sunday as well. About an hour pregame show for that one. So plenty of stuff to look forward to. And this is why you subscribe to the channel. Hope all of you out there have a great weekend. I'm Chase Sr. This is the 49ers Report. That's the latest Niners injury news.